Hello to all CINEMASTER lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. At the beginning of our recap today, Hidden Firstborn, we find two nurses cleaning the body of a man in the morgue, but they notice that the injuries on the corpse have changed. While they are photographing the injuries, something very strange happens, and the man suddenly comes back to life. We later learn that this man's name is Jonas, that he is an orphan, and now has no certificates, so he ends up working in odd jobs like painting and such, just to earn a living. The only thing keeping him going is the girl he meets, named Anna, who loves him very much, and their conversations are what help him endure the misery he sees in his life. On this day, after he finishes talking to his girlfriend on the phone, Jonas suddenly feels a very severe headache, and we learn that he has been suffering from this problem for a long time, and the only solution is for him to rest a bit. So he decides to sit somewhere on the side to rest as usual, but suddenly the ceiling above him collapses, and the workers at the place gather around him immediately. One of his colleagues pulls out his phone and is about to call emergency services to save Jonas, but the manager stops him, telling them that the fallen shelf is a very serious accident and that they will all be investigated. Therefore, he will close the building for inspection and investigation. The manager tells them that everyone now has to go back and continue working, but the workers hesitate, so the manager tells them to throw Jonas's body somewhere on the side and bury him since he's dead anyway, and no one will care about him except his girlfriend. But before they carry him away, Jonas raises his hand, so they realize he's not dead. At that point, his colleague can't bear to see him die like that and calls the emergency number. The ambulance comes and takes Jonas to the hospital, but by then, he is on the verge of death. They discover that Jonas has many fractures in his skull and body, and they find it impossible to save him, so they issue a death certificate. At that moment, something very strange happens. Jonas, whom everyone was sure was dead, suddenly wakes up and sits up. The nurses are terrified to the point that they don't know what to do, but even though they are scared, they try to help Jonas and examine him. But after he wakes up, he seems to have gone mad, and all he thinks about is escaping from there. He runs through the morgue, and when the guards see him, they try to stop him. Jonas, who had fractures all over his body, is now able to move and even gets past security easily, jumps from the hospital balcony, and escapes. He runs until he reaches the cottage he's renting and starts looking for anything in front of him to eat in a hysterical way. When he finds there's no human food, he eats the cat food in the fridge and doesn't leave anything in the house until he's eaten it. Then he takes out the cleaning products from the cupboard and drinks them as if he's drinking water. But after all that, he's still not satisfied and opens the box of laundry detergent and eats it as if it were powdered sugar, which makes his mouth fill with soap. At that point, Jonas feels better, and when he looks in the mirror, he doesn't understand what happened to him. All he remembers is that he entered the operating room, then heard the doctor announcing his death, and when he woke up, he found himself eating laundry detergent. Meanwhile, we see people looking at Jonas's photos, and it's clear they are planning something. After thinking for a while, Jonas decides to go to his girlfriend Anna and asks her to find out exactly what happened to him, since she used to work at that hospital as a nurse and could find out information about him while he was there. But when Anna hears that Jonas suddenly came back to life, she can't believe it. He himself knows it's hard to convince her, so he shows her the place of the wound on his head, but finds that in less than a day, the injuries on his body have healed on their own. At that moment, Anna is forced to believe that miracles still happen in this world. According to Jonas, when the doctor announced his death, he was actually conscious, and the whole issue was just that he was very tired. Nothing more. Anna, in order to understand exactly what happened to her boyfriend, decides to go back to the hospital to find out the story, and the badge she has helps her enter as a hospital employee. She finds the medical report the doctor wrote, then rushes to her boyfriend's house, having no idea that he is facing a very dangerous situation at that moment. A little later, we see a man dressed in black and looking mysterious enter Jonas's house. As soon as he sees him, Jonas grabs a stick and starts attacking him. But luckily, Jonas acts quickly and blocks the man's way with a nearby shelf temporarily, then runs to another room immediately. But the killer keeps chasing him and gets close, so Jonas grabs a chair and attacks him. Even though Jonas was dead just a few hours ago, his body is now strong and helps him face the man. Afterwards, Jonas takes the opportunity to hit the killer very hard and quickly runs away before the killer gets up. When the killer gets up and starts chasing him again, Jonas is already running down the stairs, but because he's crossing the road in a hurry, he doesn't notice the car coming and gets hit. When the killer sees that someone is with Jonas, he is forced to leave, and Jonas gets into the girl's car and drives away. After a while, Jonas finally gets rid of the man and stops the car to rest a bit, still not understanding who that person was or why he wanted to kill him. Afterwards, Jonas decides to look for an opportunity to return the car to its owner, but stealing that car is what saved his life. Here, we discover that none of this was a coincidence, and we learn that this girl belongs to a secret organization and was sent to keep an eye on Jonas. Jonas stealing the car prevented her from carrying out her mission properly. Of course, this makes her very worried, so she opens the door and finds the place in total disarray, with water everywhere. When she looks around and doesn't find anything, she feels a bit relieved, but then she finds a gift box on the table, which tells her that her boyfriend was here a short while ago. Anna gets even more confused confused and doesn't understand exactly what happened. She decides to go back to the hospital, knowing that if Jonas wants to reach her, he'll come there, and she's right. Jonas is indeed waiting for her at the hospital. When he sees his girlfriend, he goes to talk to her and tells her that a strange man dressed in black tried to attack him a while ago. But he doesn't focus much on her because he suddenly realizes that the headache that had bothered him since he was a child disappeared ever since he fell from the building. Jonas now feels that his body is stronger than before, and that he's been alert and energetic ever since he came back to life. But Anna feels that something is wrong and is not comfortable with all this, so she suggests that he get a brain scan to make sure the wound in his head has truly healed, since many of the symptoms Jonas described are similar to those of a serious illness. When she thinks about the fact that a strange person tried to attack him before, she takes him to hide in the storage room and prepares for him to get a brain scan. And after a while, Anna comes back and brings him clothes from the hospital and a wheelchair so he can disguise himself as a patient. She takes him and helps him get out of the storage room, and they go to the radiology room. There, Jonas notices some strange lines around the machine. When he tells Anna, she says she can't see anything, and Jonas isn't sure if these things are what brought him back to life. After a while, Anna returns with the test results and tells him that his brain is normal and there are no problems. But she finds that the results show Jonas had a similar operation a long time ago, and there is an old scar. She also finds metal reactions in his head, and she can't determine exactly what they are, but she is sure it's not something natural. It appears that someone implanted them in his head. When Jonas hears his girlfriend's analysis, he takes this information and looks at the records himself. He learns that the doctor, while trying to save him, discovered a strange chip in his head and removed it. At that moment, Jonas feels like he remembered something and tells Anna to take him to the place where the mysterious chip is because he suspects it's what brought him back to life. So Anna takes him to the place where they store medical waste, and they find the bag with the remnants from the operation. While searching, they find the mysterious chip, which looks like an electronic device. Anna also notices a strange symbol engraved on it, and although she has never seen it before, she is very optimistic and thinks they can start investigating the symbol and find out what it is, at least to know exactly what this thing is. But before they start the investigation, a new incident happens. Suddenly, as soon as they leave the room, they are surprised to find 3 officers pointing their weapons at them, wanting to arrest them. They are very confused by what is happening. Then the mysterious man in black appears again. At first, Jonas thinks he came to help the police arrest him, but he sees him kill one of the police officers and then attack the rest. The scene becomes very chaotic and no one understands anything. Jonas quickly takes his girlfriend and helps her escape, helping her jump over the iron fence. But before he can jump after her, he sees the mysterious man coming after them. So Jonas runs. When he sees the man is about to chase Anna, he gets in a car to run him over and kill him. But at that moment, something very strange happens. A woman arrives in a car and runs over the mysterious man. When Jonas sees her, he immediately remembers her. She is the same person who hit him with a car and stole her car from her. He finally understands that the appearance of this second party at his house was not just a coincidence. He thinks she is on his side, but she attacks him. Jonas can't defend himself and loses consciousness. The woman takes him with her in the car, while Anna stands behind the fence watching everything, very anxious but unable to do anything, watching her boyfriend being kidnapped before her eyes. After a while, the woman takes Jonas to a secret base. As soon as they arrive, her people take Jonas from the car and move him to a specific room, tying him to a particular device. Jonas feels something strange in his heart, and soon after, someone presses a button and Jonas feels electricity in the device, but he manages to free himself. At that moment, the supervisor presses the alarm button next to him, and as soon as the alarm sounds, all the corridors in the building are sealed with iron gates. But none of this matters to Jonas. He reaches a corridor, breaks the iron gate, and the woman who kidnapped him runs after him but can't stop him, and just watches him from a distance as he escapes through the corridor. But these mysterious people expected this to happen, and quickly close the exit, underestimating Jonas's strength. As soon as he grabs the lock, it breaks in his hand. But because of the obstacles he faced along the way, the mysterious woman manages to catch up to him. Here, Jonas realizes how strong he is, so he is not afraid of the woman. But what she tells him makes him freeze in place. She tells him that they all have superpowers and that they didn't kidnap Jonas to hurt him, but to activate the energy in his body. But Jonas doesn't believe her and quickly escapes, deciding to investigate the matter on his own. He concludes that the chip was implanted in his head at that time, but the records do not say why this operation was performed on a 2-year-old child. If he wants to understand all this, he needs to look for the people who were there at the time to investigate. Luckily, he finds the surgeon's signature on the papers. Immediately, he calls his girlfriend Anna and asks her to find out more information about this doctor. Anna searches the doctor's name in the hospital computer, finds it, and sends his current address to Jonas. After Jonas gets to his target's address and prepares to move, Anna is worried and decides to go with him. But neither of them notices that a third group is watching their every move because the police know about the death of the 3 officers who were killed. When they investigated the crime scene, they couldn't identify the mysterious killer in black, but the surveillance cameras had caught the faces of Jonas and Anna, so the police consider them suspects. Meanwhile, Jonas arrives at the place and doesn't wait for Anna, goes to the doctor to ask him about what happened. After meeting him, he learns information about the operation he had a long time ago and asks him all the questions he couldn't find answers to. The doctor tells him everything that happened, explaining that when Jonas was about to be sent to the orphanage, they found he was suffering from a very strange disease that no one had seen before, and his growth rate and physical energy exceeded normal human levels. But because of the excessive rate, his bones couldn't handle it, which is why Jonas felt pain all over his body. The doctor had never seen such a strange case and tried everything, but couldn't find any effect. At that time, a mysterious person found the doctor and gave him a solution, promising he could cure Jonas. This person told him it was a new treatment method not many people knew about, and with his recommendation, Jonas could be treated, but the operation had to remain secret. The doctor thought about it for a long time until he finally agreed. After meeting the mysterious person, the doctor discovered there was a secret clinic, and with the treatment Jonas received there, his disease disappeared. When Jonas hears this story from the doctor, he immediately asks if he remembers the clinic's location, but the doctor's memories are very vague, and he can't even remember the surgeon's name. The only thing that can prove the doctor's story is the confidentiality agreement he signed. When the doctor gets up to look for the paper, Jonas stands waiting in the room and, looking out the window, sees black cars. A strange car parked under the doctor's apartment. At first, Jonas doesn't pay much attention to these cars because, in the end, a lot of people park their cars here. But when he sees some shady people dressed in black getting out of the car, Jonas becomes suspicious. He notices these people heading to the apartment across from his, and before Jonas can do anything, the men attack him. Although he is much stronger than ordinary people, he finds that the bullets the men used are not ordinary bullets. He is stunned for a moment and loses consciousness. The doctor is killed in the crossfire. When Jonas wakes up, he finds himself in a room and realizes that someone saved him, but no one else is there. He looks around until he finds a woman on the rooftop who tells him her name is Leander, and she also has superpowers. It turns out she was the one who saved Jonas. According to her, Jonas's situation is a rare case among people with superpowers, and they call him a hider. He has a body stronger than normal people, and, most importantly, he is affected by physical modifications. With Leander's help, Jonas starts to activate his superpower. For the first time, the strange threads he saw between reality and imagination turn out, according to Leander, to be threads of information and energy flow. Leander's explanation is so brief that Jonas doesn't understand any of it, nor does he know exactly what these powers do. To help him feel his abilities more, Leander takes him to a secret place where he finds people waiting for them. When Leander tells Jonas to activate his power and look at the door in front of him, Jonas doesn't understand but does as she says. He sees threads of information around him, forming a large network on the wall. Jonas notices a door under this network and immediately understands the information and principles, that these people are blocking information about the door so others can't see or sense it. Using his powers, Jonas manages to pass through the energy network and touches the door handle. As soon as it opens, they find a large room filled with boxes. These boxes are what Leander and her group wanted to reach from the beginning. They enter the room and start carrying the boxes. At that moment, Jonas notices a strange pattern drawn on one of the boxes and immediately realizes it's the same pattern they call the electronic compound. Jonas guesses there must be information related to it in that box, so he takes it. In the next scene, Jonas, Leander, and the rest return to the hideout. We find out that the boxes they carried contain many antiques worth astronomical prices, but only Jonas's box contains papers. He doesn't lose hope. On the contrary, it makes him more convinced that this box contains things related to him. Before he reads the papers, a mysterious person appears before him, making him nervous. But then he realizes it's the woman who kidnapped him before, confirming that everything she told him was true. This time, he agrees to talk to her. They both get into a car and the woman tells him her name is Ed, and she is an investigator with superpowers as well. After the organization responsible for the hiders finds out about this, they assign Ed to investigate. She found out that Jonas escaped from the hospital on the same day the incident happened, which is why she was chasing him. Jonas doesn't know what to do about this and tells her it was just a coincidence, but says he has evidence proving he's not the killer. When Ed looks at the photos he gives her, she realizes he was sent to the hospital because he fell from a building that day, and after that, his power returned to him. After the doctor removed the mysterious chip implanted in his head, Ed looks at the picture of the chip, spaces out for a bit, and then tells Jonas that she is the only one who can clear him of suspicion now, so he needs to cooperate with her. At that moment, Ed's assistant, disguised as a beggar, arrives. As she's about to greet him, a car suddenly stops next to the man. Before she can react, men get out of the car and kidnap the beggar. Jonas immediately runs after them, clings to the back of the car, and follows them to a mysterious building. Jonas watches as these people enter the building and follows them inside. As soon as he enters, he is shocked to see the same symbol he found on the chip, realizing that this is the enemy's hideout. He moves very cautiously in the building and, peeking through a door, sees people inside and a man dressed as a doctor preparing to operate on the beggar. Jonas is sure there is only one enemy. Before Before the doctor can do anything, he is attacked and falls to the ground. Jonas seizes the opportunity, frees the beggar, and interrogates the doctor, learning that this is the secret clinic where he was operated on as a child. While questioning him, Jonas learns more from the doctor, who tells him that the pain he felt in his back was not normal, and that he actually inherited a rare disease from his father. He can hide the hider powers in his body by implanting a device to relieve the pain. The unique thing about this disease is that the patient can absorb adrenaline from someone close to him, or else he will die quickly. When Jonas hears this, he is shocked and realizes something important. He remembers that Ed told him the Brotherhood sent her to investigate, but she didn't mention anything about the gang that was killing people. Jonas then understands that they were sent by his father, and some of them wanted to catch him and absorb his adrenaline. The doctor tells him there are other features of this rare disease, which creates a hereditary birthmark. Jonas shows him the large birthmark on his body, and the doctor tells him it's proof that he inherited the same disease. With this evidence, Jonas finally finds a way to track down his father. But things move faster than he expected, because after the beggar sees the birthmark, he says he saw the same mark on an officer in the army whose age matches what Jonas described. After learning this, Jonas takes the beggar and goes to look for his father. As soon as they leave the building, they see corpses everywhere, and Ed is also wounded and lying on the ground. When Jonas approaches to check on her, Ed is about to die and tells Jonas to take the photo from her forehead and look for someone named Barg, because this person will help him continue the investigation. Unfortunately, she dies right after. Jonas tells the beggar to take Ed to the hospital, and he goes to look for Barg. After he finds him, he confronts Barg, who pulls out a photo album containing pictures of all the officers who died in the war the beggar mentioned. The man shows him a picture of his father, and Jonas can't hold himself together because he sees his father, whom he has never met before, and discovers that he is the mastermind who wants to get rid of him. Later, he finds out that this person is the father of the boy who was also killed in the hospital, and this confirms to him that this man is the one who really wants to kill him. While Jones is looking for the man, he goes to the hospital to visit Ed, but finds that she has recovered and is doing well. He guesses that since she is an investigator with superpowers, she must have information about this man. When he confirms that this is indeed the case, Jones asks her to call him, and he takes advantage of the opportunity and uses his superpower to track the phone signal, eventually reaching his father's hideout. Thus, the father and son finally meet, but Jones is not affected and only feels hatred towards him, not understanding why his father suddenly sent people to kill him after all these years. The man tells him that it was only for his own good. When Jones sees how selfish his father is, he doesn't hesitate at all and starts confronting him. Ed relies on her sense of hearing and hears the sound of a child crying, so she goes upstairs and finds men dressed in black standing around the child, performing very strange rituals. Although she doesn't understand what's going on, she deduces that they are up to something bad, so she quickly grabs the child from the ground while they are distracted. As soon as they see her, they chase after her. Meanwhile, Jones is confronting his father when he hears Ed scream, so he leaves his father and runs upstairs. At this moment, Ed gets cornered and the men in black surround her. Since she doesn't know the place well, she's about to be caught, so she looks at the window and decides to jump. At that time, Jones is caught, and the men tie him up. But luckily, the height isn't great, and since Ed has superpowers, she isn't injured and manages to escape from those men. On the other side, after the men realize the ritual has failed, they leave Jones and run away. But the evil man's men don't give up so easily. After a while, we see men dressed in black gathering in a room, and no one knows exactly what they are planning. And here, the events of our movie for today come to an end. Stay tuned for new videos and summaries. Goodbye.